I'm going to be doing something a little different this week. Dragori Games approached me to offer my opinion on their upcoming 5th edition expansion for their setting Tanares. They've released a free 113-page sample packet that includes an adventure for a 3rd level party, a sneak peek at new classes and subclasses, and maps for the setting and the adventure. Just to let y'all know, this is not a sponsored video. I will be digging into the Tanares sample pack and give my honest opinion about what's in it for players. Before we get started, I just want to give a huge thank you to Dragori Games for this opportunity. You can check out the free sample packs by going to the website. I have a link for you in the description below. For those that are like me that are admittedly unfamiliar with the setting, what is Tanares? Tanares is categorized as a post-apocalyptic high fantasy setting. The setting is the backdrop for Dragori Games' tabletop game, Arena the Contest, and its expansions. Much like Eberron, it takes a similar approach to a player character's role in the world. They are put front and center and meant to be special. In fact, Dragori Games goes as far as to state that heroes are rare and higher level heroes are even rarer. What makes a player's character special is found in the setting's lore. Much of the setting revolves around the Malrokian Curse, a name given by the peoples of Tanares to describe the world-ending events caused by war followed by natural disasters. Legends in the setting state that the gods in the form of avatar dragons descended upon the war-riddled world, warning the people that if bloodshed continues, they will punish them. True to their word, every time nations began to war with each other, a natural disaster would alter the world that would wipe out the armies and in extreme cases, the nations in conflict. This would wipe the region clean, acting as a reset. It's a creative way to fill the world with dungeons to explore. In the current point of the setting, a figure known as the Emperor established power with their own personal army known as the Iron Hand and quickly moved to put the world under their rule using the fear of the curse to do so. The Emperor has established a law that prohibits the gathering of more than a few armed people with the exception of the Iron Hand. Under their rule, all political and economic conflict is settled in the arena, where a nation or business sponsors a team to win in gladiatorial combat to settle disputes. This is where a player's character steps in. A playgroup is expected to form a team to compete in the arena or send on missions on the behalf of a nation or other faction of their choosing. Taking a look at the player options in the sample package, they are what we come to expect from any sort of setting supplement, offering options that will directly tie a character into the setting. They are promising 4 brand new classes and a ton more subclasses for the base classes in 5th edition. Their Dragonblade and Madwalker classes are previewed while the Elementalist and Redeemer are hinted at throughout the supplement. The Dragonblade looks to be a martial class that looks to fill the melee spellcaster niche. They don't outright get spellcasting, instead they get Dragonblade powers that look to be the equivalent to magic. What's interesting about the Dragonblade powers is that the player is incentivized to use them in a sequence to activate an even stronger version of the power. The Madwalker is a twisted druid-like class tied to the penumbral plane, a dark reflection of Tanares, similar to depictions of the Shadowfell. Madwalkers are capable of mutating parts of their body, taking on aspects of aberrations. The player is incentivized to take on these mutations to accumulate insanity points. Despite insanity points having a drawback, eventually there will be a payoff where your character is capable of transforming into a powerful horrific form. They also showed off the first few features for the Cleric and Wizard subclasses. Clerics can take the Courage domain, which is another martial subclass that looks to give Cleric Warlord-like abilities to support their allies in the thick of the fight. Wizards can take the Lost Magic Researcher, which is themed around uncovering forgotten magic. They are capable of manipulating a casted spell to a limited degree. I have to commend Dragori Games for including information on how to incorporate their class and subclasses into a variety of settings outside of their own. Other third-party setting books that offer new player options don't provide this information, as it seems they expect you to play them exclusively in their setting. This is a welcome inclusion, as Dragori Games appears to acknowledge how players and DMs use books as resources they can pull from. Other player options included in the free supplement are their new race, which they refer to as a species, the Taimaku, and some new cleric and wizard spells. Overall, everything seems interesting, but I can't speak to the power level of the options since this is just a small taste. The last bit of player-facing content is the highly stylized character sheet with pre-generated characters. Obviously, there wasn't a blank character sheet provided, and despite the high quality design, I'm hoping they do offer a printer-friendly version or a PDF we can port to a tablet or phone. Dungeon Masters aren't left out to dry, as much of the free sample packet is made up of a module they can run for their table. The module is loaded. It's pitched as a one-shot, but there's enough material to have it take 2 to 3 sessions. I'm not going to spoil the adventure, but after giving it a read-through, it aims to get a playgroup familiar with the different aspects of the setting. It will familiarize the players with the political conflict in the setting, then have them venture into the aberrant-infested penumbral plane, and then have them return to the material plane to face off in the arena. Even though Dragori Games provides a snippet of the source book that acts more like a highlight reel of the themes of the setting instead of a thorough breakdown, the adventure module provides more setting information that reiterates or provides context to the source book sample. Having that information prior to the adventure goes a long way in helping DMs understand the adventure's tone and themes. Along with the setting information, there is an outline of the adventure that details what to expect in each chapter that hints at what's to come for the full adventure. It's then followed by a story overview of what's in the module. One feature I liked was the inclusion of a format key for the text boxes so DMs understand what each text box represents and how they are to be used. The text boxes are filled to the brim with tips, setting information, and descriptions that are super useful for any DM. While description boxes are standard fare, the DM tip boxes are a great addition, providing advice on how to handle problems if it comes up in play. Dragori Games put an incredible amount of effort in providing a set of dialogue boxes for important NPCs that the party must choose between when trying to decide on what faction their group is going to be aligned with. In most books, they offer a brief description, character motivations, and a few lines they can say. Not in this supplement. Each of these NPCs has a full 2-page spread that not only offers a description and their motivations, but also goes over defining characteristics, the character's connection to other factions and regions, as well as what rewards they will offer players. All of this is in great detail. The cherry on top is a solid amount of pre-written dialogue for each of these NPCs that looks to answer common questions the players may have. While I can understand if experienced DMs may feel they won't have the freedom to change things to suit their table's needs, rest assured the information provided still gives you the freedom to do as you need. Based on the sample alone, this shows a lot of promise. I can honestly say I'm thoroughly impressed. It is always safe to be cautious of ambitious projects, especially since throughout the pages of the sample and on their product page, they are promising a lot, and I hope they can follow through. The fact that this free sample is so dense with useful information to run a game in their setting gives me confidence that the mechanics Dragori Games has hinted to us but not shown will be just as fleshed out. My biggest takeaway though is that Dragori Games acknowledges how players and DMs use sourcebooks. While the set of books aims to put players into their setting, they are aware that this could be a set of books that playgroups will mine through to tell their own stories outside of the Tanares setting. The only thing I'm apprehensive about is the player versus player rules. While I know some players out there would love rules to help facilitate that style of play, it's just not my cup of tea. I would like to see attached to this system advice on how to address conflict outside of the game that could arise from PvP. Despite offering my opinion on this, just don't take my word for it and check it out for yourself. Again, you can find a link to the free sample in the description below. If you join Dragori Games mailing list, you get all 3 packets for the full sample. Dragori Games has an impressive supplement that shows a lot of promise for the final product, and if they can deliver on those promises, I can see Tanares being a great resource for tables to use in their games whether they play in the setting or not. With that said, I just want to say thank you to Dragori Games for the opportunity to check out their sample. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like, and if you want to see more content like this, I drop a video every week, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Alright, I'm out of here, have a good one.